That coming from a guy who knows how hard it is to win come January. 50th birthday, I believe, for Chad Steele. That's the PR guy for the Ravens. Peter shouted him out on Friday ahead of the weekend. They walked away. The Ravens, the Chad Steele Ravens walked away with a win over the Commanders this weekend. Peter, biggest takeaway, though, from a game that we had been talking about ad nauseum coming into this weekend.
I think we hyped this game up a lot, and I think it actually lived up to the hype. It was awesome. I watched every snap, and I do love Scott Hansen, but I was focused in on this one yesterday afternoon, and I didn't care where the other games were going on for a while there because it was back and forth. And I'll say this, the Ravens have something this year that they didn't have last year and they didn't have in the 2019 MVP season. They got this guy, Derrick Henry, who put the game away and closed out the game, which is something they've been struggling with for the past few years. This was my big takeaway. When it came down to it in the fourth quarter, it was this guy, number 22, who could not be brought down. And if the Ravens have a lead, it's always been a precarious situation. And even week 2, they lost to the Raiders after a 10-point lead at home. Derrick Henry takes the ball and he goes, he already got 700 yards this season? We're 6 weeks into the season. He's got 700 yards. He's on his way to having his best season as a pro. Scored a rushing touchdown for the 7th week in a row. And you got to look back. He did it last year in his final game of the season and then did it all 6 games so far this year. This was supposed to be all about Lamar and Jaden, and both those guys played great and kept up their MVP conversation pieces. But Derrick Henry continues to impress me in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, because he's so hard to bring down after these hard-fought games. In the final 15 minutes of all of these contests, it feels like the Ravens finally have a guy they can go to that could put the game on ice and leave it. Last year, they didn't have that against Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, and they were scared to run the ball. Now they've got that dude. I would almost say Henry's in the MVP conversation with Lamar, and they might end up splitting votes because they've both been so good this season for Baltimore.
Yeah. Man, Peter, it was a good game. It really was. I did the same thing. I had RedZone on one, and then I had on my
Surface.
My Surface. That's exactly what I was thinking. I got on my Surface, and I was watching this game one-on-one, and it was such a great game. But, we're looking at Derrick Henry and his rushing. Honestly, when you look at it, especially in the first half, the Commanders are doing an amazing job stopping the run and really playing tough. I mean, it was a low-scoring game, but then once we saw Dorrance Armstrong go out, we saw a different game strategy, and they started to explode in the run game. The Baltimore Ravens, they specifically used Zay Flowers horizontally to kind of open things up. And once they started getting Zay going horizontally and the screen games and everything else, I mean, it was good night. I mean, because Derrick Henry was just downhill running, and it really wore that defense out. But I would say, looking on the other side, Washington should hold their head up high because they played that game well. I mean, they were throwing punches and counter punches, and they were taking and they were rolling with it. I still believe Jaden Daniels and the Commanders are still the best team in the NFC East. Yes, they lost to a Super Bowl contending Baltimore Ravens, but this team is ready to rock and roll. I saw everything I needed to see out of the Washington Commanders in this game.
Yeah, I mean, except for the win. And if they're going to be a cute little story this year and maybe get a playoff bid, and they almost fought with the big bad Baltimore, fine. But if this team has bigger expectations, next time win that game. Jaden Daniels looked really good. He looked poised. Lamar had a little bit of, not yet, buddy. Hold on, just everybody relax. He played better. He was at home. He got the win. I think that's great. Zay Flowers for 2 straight weeks has had a career high. That's pretty cool. Like, you don't see back-to-back career highs. He's becoming the thing that I feel like the Baltimore Ravens have looked for since they became the Baltimore Ravens, just consistent electric wide receiver. But the odds are insurmountable. If we go into this game and talk about it every single day like we did last week, to come out on Monday morning, are we talking Jaden or are we talking Lamar? No, we're talking Derrick Henry. Insurmountable. It reminds me of like a scene stealer in a movie, like Melissa McCarthy or with Catherine Hahn, like the scene stealer. There's these 2 stars, and Derrick Henry completely steals it. And Peter, I'll go further. I think he's the MVP frontrunner right now in the NFL.
Really?
MVP leads the league in yards, leads the league in rushing touchdowns. He's 5.9 yards a carry. The stats are just absolutely garish. I think he is the guy. I do. And I think I would love to see a running back, let alone one at his age, do this. It would be the most amazing story. I just didn't think it was going to work out like this. It has been so good and so badass. And he's not even doing it with all these crazy, angry runs. He's coasting in the open field. He's going through touchdowns untouched. I just can't believe that Lamar was great, Jaden Daniels was great, and then you watch this game, you're like, damn, Derrick Henry looks awesome. That should not be the takeaway. And we'll see how they use him over. I mean, we got a long way to go. It's really, they want him to be doing this stuff in January. Long way to go. And maybe they pull back on a little bit. But right now, Baltimore's offense is incredible. Defense is fine, I think. They're 4-2. They just won the battle of the Beltway. Back to the shallow in a little bit for the Commanders. But I think Derrick Henry is the MVP after 6 weeks. I do.
This running back quarterback duo has the most rushing yards for that pair of positions since the 1975 Bills did it with O.J. Simpson and Jim Braxton through 6 games. So to start the season and a half a dozen games, they have the most combined yards. The two of them have 1,107 so far on the ground. It's absolutely incredible to watch. Kyle, to your point and the rest factor and the making it the entire way through the schedule. For some reason this early, I don't know if it's because we're settling into this 18-week schedule thing. I'm just very keenly aware of the teams that have a really early bye. It feels too early to me at times. So the Vikings are coming off one. They got to play the Lions next week. The Ravens don't have their bye until week 14 this season. So I actually think that bodes well for some teams because if you get playing really well, you have a really nice little December rest week. But does your run game carry you all the way through, or does like a week 10 or 11 feel more comfortable? It's just something to watch because it is such a long season. And if you have an aged running back, then
ideally